Hello, and welcome back to Women in Cloud, our annual summit. This is the afternoon program. It's all about leadership today and building your professional presence in so many ways. And so this morning we heard some great speakers. If you missed the morning session, don't worry. I took a picture of the visual that I drew. I'll put it in the chat. And also remember that you can always go at any time to hear the 60 plus speakers in our in-demand platform. So right here, you just go in, the code's 2022, and you can go in and see people. They're amazing. All right, so this afternoon, we got a lot of really cool things happening. But the very first thing that we're going to do is I'm going to bring Barry Russell up here, and we're going to have a conversation really about leading like a great conductor for driving gender equality in the digital environment. All right, so Barry Russell, technology leader, go-to-market builder, ally, board advisor on our board, Women in Cloud. He's ex-Amazon, ex-Microsoft, customer-obsessed technology exec, and this guy is passionate, super passionate about building diverse teams to do exceptional things. He's got a lot of secret things that he's doing that we can't talk about, but he's amazing. So he drives business to scale and has a deep understanding of cloud platforms. We're going to find out from him really like, what does that mean to lead like a conductor? And how can you drive gender equality in the digital economy? All right, Barry, come on up here and join me. I just want to say that he has a bit of a cold, AKA potentially COVID. We don't know, but he's here today. So Barry, thank you so much for joining. You're so kind.
Thanks, Patty. Thank you. Sorry for the frog.
Yeah, no worries. And so if you start coughing, then I'll start telling jokes or something. I'll launch into something. It'll be scary. So tell me, Barry, you know, you have a ton of experience in this space. What does that mean to lead like a great conductor for driving gender equality? What does that mean? How do you do that?
I don't know. You know, I thought about it and when they titled this session. And, you know, I'll tell you, when I think about one of the things that, you know, the term conductor, when I think about where that term applies, and we talked a little bit about it, whether it's an orchestra or somebody in the industrial space who is, you know, responsible for moving lots of things around. I think that's really at the root of it. Is somebody that understands that the organizational dynamics and the ability to get people kind of onto one song sheet or leading along and following on that path really involves them buying into trusting that conductor implicitly, that whatever skill set they're bringing to the table together as a group is going to turn into something pretty cool. And so I think trust is at the root of that. And then I think I'd be remiss if I didn't mention something that I've worked on a lot and I'm still working on, as many know, including folks I interact with like Chai. You know, I talk to her about this a lot, is vulnerability. I think one of the things that makes a great conductor, or if you say leaders, whether it's in the digital space or anywhere, frankly, for that matter, is the ability for them to first show up vulnerable and expose to their teams what they're not great at. Because ultimately you surround yourself with great people, whether you're leading them as they report directly into your org, or it's a matrixed organization and you're just in charge of the project. Ultimately, people have to know that they're there for a specific reason, and often it's because you're not good at something and you need their help.
Yeah. And so how do you model that at the very beginning so that people see that that's an okay thing? But what have you worked with people who have not been able to be transparent about what they're not good at, and how did you coach them?
Yeah, I have, including, you know, I think at points in my, you know, or certainly earlier in my life, myself included. And there's an example of vulnerability, you know, by being able to be okay with not being perfect. How have I coached people or been coached myself? I think you have to first identify what somebody's superpowers are.
Yeah.
Right. And have them agree that yes, in fact, those are their superpowers. That then determines whether or not somebody is doing the right thing in the right role. Because a lot of times people are great for companies and organizations, but they just might not be in the right role because it's not aligned to their superpowers. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes. And but
Okay.
when you think about that, so you got somebody and they're aligned in their role with their superpower, then how do you expand that if their superpower is not around gender equality? How do you expand that to that? Because
Yeah.
I think that's the tricky thing. We love to hire people that look just like us.
Yeah. Well, I think sometimes we do that. Yeah. Sometimes we do that, or act like us, or, use the same words. Gender equality, or equality in general. One of the ways that I've done it is by using some of the examples that others have taught me, of where there isn't equality, in the economy, or the workplace. We'll put the social aspect of the world to the side for a second. The second is to find an example that resonates with that person, whether it's in their personal life, perhaps it's a family member, a friend, sister, that they might have known who was overlooked for promotion or didn't get the funding for their company because they couldn't get the meeting with the VC, or simply was not listened to, not heard in a meeting. Kind of glossed over, and get them to understand that they have to be empathetic, and they have to proactively look for those situations when they're happening. Example in a meeting where you see somebody getting, I do this a lot. I don't think that person was done, or
Yeah.
I don't think she was done speaking.
Okay.
Let's
So
hear the end of the
stopping
thought.
the action, stopping the action
Yeah,
when you see it happening, and modeling how
that's right.
important it is to listen to other people. And then when somebody comes to, and you've been on so many teams, right?
Yeah,
So when you've been on
yeah.
teams, how did you set the, how did you lay the foundation for that from the moment you started? Like, I'm thinking about every time you make a transition, what do you do in those opening days or weeks?
I treat everyone the same. So that's my operating mechanism from the start. Male, female, I'm treating everybody with the same intensity of questions, or curiosity for what's happening with the business,
Yeah,
and same level of respect. So I'm trying to not um, act or treat anybody differently, with one exception: understanding that you've got a team, right, and
right.
everybody has their unique egos and personalities, and you do have to understand some of the nuances of that. But at the gender level,
Yeah,
everybody gets treated the same. In other words, you don't ask easy questions to one set and hard questions to another, or vice versa, and you don't assign easy work to one set, hard work to another. Things are
yeah,
distributed equally, so that everybody then has the opportunity to show up.
right. And then have you ever been accused of treating people in equally in the environment? Have you ever gotten any kind of feedback like that?
I've never been accused of treating someone unequally. Uh, I have in my, to be vulnerable again, I have in my past, a long time ago, certainly come across too heavy-handed, or too intense. And of course, that was a learning. Had to do some hard work to change that, but
Yeah.
never in terms of gender.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't say enough about what you're talking about and how you're speaking to it right now, because I'm not asking you an easy question. I'm asking you, have you ever done something really stupid like that? Because I think that
Yes.
we
Not related to gender. I've done it. My issue is more, and I drive hard, and had to tone that down a bit. And so that
Yeah.
showed up. That showed up no matter who the person was.
Yes. So when you think about the digital economy and you see the direction that things are going in terms of jobs, et cetera, what have you been doing in this space to try to help pave the way for more equitable experiences for everybody? So, as you come out of things and go into things and have conversations, how do you bridge the gap or ask the questions that will get you where you want to be?
Let me think on that just a bit. Here's what I would say. I think even the new role that I'm going to take on Monday, I think that one of the things that all of us that have been in tech and cloud for way too long
Yeah.
have accumulated is creativity and the ability to get shit done and figure stuff out.
Yeah.
And I think those are all transferable skills into different industries. Because if you look at every industry, I don't care if it's a railroad to airline to cloud, and everything in between,
Yes.
everybody is digitizing as many parts of their business as they can. And so
Yeah.
the skill sets that show up for that are creativity, operational excellence, and of course, numbers. Whether you're managing a P&L or you're selling, you're on the sales side or you're on the product side, developing a product with a limited set of resources. Everything that's showing up today simply has to do with, trying to take something which was not digital and
Yes.
make it so. And so I think all of the people that are in this network, regardless of what they're doing now, myself included, have these transferable skills to areas, that are, and we experience them still in our day-to-day life, that are archaic and non-digital. And you think, why is this not just a button I click? Why am I sitting in this office for 3 hours filling out paperwork? Those are
Right.
all transferable skills.
Yes. I love that. I think that one of the things that I admire about you, because I do, is that I think that what you're really great at is looking for the opportunity in anything that seems challenging. And so you've found a way to do that with your career. You take on these big challenges, you take on the opportunity to disrupt the space that we're in. And so I would thank you for that, number one, in being on the board and paving the way for all the ways that you have. But what would be just a couple, as we close out here, what are just a couple tips for people that are listening for how they can be a great conductor?
Well, I'll just go back
What you
to
said is trust, build trust, right?
yeah, trust, vulnerability, and an important one for me was making sure the team has fun, whether it's your team or your virtual team. Like in a lot of companies, where we've worked, you can pick on Amazon and Microsoft and the likes if you want. They're very matrixed organizations. A lot of times, you're
Yeah.
leading a group of people who are not your direct. They're not in your direct organization, yet they have to follow you anyway.
Yeah.
Setting super, super clear objectives. And, I don't believe in these quarterly business reviews. I think that's by the time you review your business, in the fourth month of the prior quarter,
Yeah.
the
Forget it.
car
The world.
accident, any car accidents have already happened, right? Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
Reviewing with that team weekly, and certainly monthly, uh, and providing people the opportunity to own. Let them be owners. You hired them or brought them in as a team for a reason. If you're going to hire people with expertise and you're going to assemble these great teams and then not let them do their job, then just do it yourself and don't hire them.
Yeah, exactly. I thank you so much for these
Thank you.
fantastic tips and
Thanks,
for
Patty.
talking to us with that frog. You sounded fantastic. And thank you again for all the work you do for Women in Cloud. You're just an
Yeah, you're welcome.
amazing, amazing ally. So,
Thanks,
all
Kelly.
right,
That's sweet.
we'll let you go back and recover now. You can go lay down and get on that
Thanks.
bike, just like I suggested. That'll clear it out of your system. Thanks so much, Barry.